I never thought I'd be shortlisted for Seductive Man Alive. When I got the call, I was sitting in my apartment, staring at my phone like it might be a prank. Me, Benny Blanco, known for writing songs and producing music, now being recognized for looks, charm. It was crazy. But the moment I hung up, all I could think about was Selena. We hadn't been dating long, just a few months, but things were going well. Great, even. We'd met through the industry, of course, and our first date felt like something straight out of a movie. There was something magical about it, but also eerie. I hadn't really thought about it until now. The night we went out for the first time, she was nothing like I expected. I mean, I knew her reputation, America's sweetheart, kind, genuine. But there was this edge to her that I hadn't anticipated. She'd picked this small, cozy restaurant tucked away in LA. It was dimly lit, quiet, the kind of place where no one would recognize us or bother us. Perfect for a first date. We sat down, ordered some wine, and talked about everything from music to family. She told me about growing up in Texas, about her time on Disney Channel, and how she'd managed to stay grounded despite all the fame. I was in awe of how real she was. I remember thinking that if this was Selena, the girl I'd watched on TV and heard singing on the radio, I was pretty damn lucky. Then, out of nowhere, she dropped this little bomb on me. "So, Benny," she said, swirling her wine glass, her eyes locking onto mine. "You know what my biggest ick is?" I laughed, thinking she was joking. I mean, what could possibly bother Selena Gomez? But she didn't laugh back. Instead, she leaned in closer, her voice dropping to almost a whisper. "Lies," she said. "I hate lies." There was something about the way she said it that made my skin crawl. It wasn't just the words, it was the intensity behind them. Her face, which had been light and playful moments ago, suddenly looked serious. Dark, even. I tried to brush it off, saying something dumb like, "Well, good thing I'm an honest guy." But she didn't smile. She just stared at me, her eyes unblinking, as if she was searching for something deep inside me. "I can always tell," she said, "when someone's lying. It's like a sixth sense." I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded, trying to play it cool. But inside, I was shaken. Who says something like that on a first date? It was like she was warning me or testing me. The rest of the date was a blur. We finished our meal, talked a little more, but that moment stuck with me. Even after she kissed me goodnight at the door of my place, her words kept echoing in my head. Lies. I hate lies. Over the next few weeks, we got closer. She was sweet, fun, everything I could have hoped for. But there were little things that kept popping up, little moments that gave me chills. Like how she'd sometimes finish my sentences before I even knew what I was going to say. Or how she'd know things about me I'd never told her, small, personal details that no one else could know. One night, we were lying on the couch, watching some old movie, when she casually mentioned something I hadn't told anyone in years. It was about a fight I'd had with my mom when I was a teenager. I'd never told her that. In fact, I'd only ever mentioned it to one close friend years ago. How did you know about that?" I asked, my heart pounding. She smiled that sweet Selena smile, but her eyes were different, cold, distant. "I just know things." From that point on, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. It wasn't that she was mean or cruel. She was always kind, always supportive. But there was this part of her that seemed otherworldly. Like she knew more than she should, saw more than she let on. Every time I thought about lying to her, even about something small, like saying I liked a movie when I didn't, something inside me screamed not to. It was like she'd see right through me. And then came the night of the big party. It was one of those industry events where everyone who was anyone showed up. I was nervous, not just because I was there with Selena, but because it was the first time I'd be surrounded by so many big names, people I'd admired for years. Selena looked stunning, as always. We mingled, talked to a few people, and I was starting to relax. But then, I overheard someone mention me. They were talking about the Seductive Man Alive shortlist. I hadn't told her about it yet. It was stupid, really. I didn't want to seem arrogant, and I figured it wasn't a big deal. But as soon as I heard my name, I felt a knot in my stomach. I turned to look at Selena, and she was staring at me again. That same, unblinking stare from our first date. My heart dropped. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked, her voice calm but laced with something I couldn't quite place. "I was going to," I stammered. "I just didn't think it was important." Her eyes narrowed, just for a second, and then she smiled. But it wasn't the warm smile I'd gotten used to. This one felt wrong. "You're lying," she said softly. I felt a chill run down my spine. I tried to laugh it off, to explain myself, but she wasn't listening. Her gaze was fixed on me, and it felt like she could see straight through me, into my soul. "I don't like lies, Benny," she whispered, leaning in close. "You know that." That was the moment I knew. Whatever Selena Gomez was, she wasn't just the sweet, innocent girl the world thought she was. There was something darker, something I couldn't quite understand. And as much as I cared about her, as much as I wanted to make it work, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was in over my head. Now, here I am, sitting in my apartment, staring at the award for Seductive Man Alive.